right, welcome back. Halt and call for backup. And we are on the steps. Step 2. Step 2 in how it works is came to believe a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And the secular version came to believe that we needed support and tools beyond our current resources to restore us to well-being. Hoo-wee. It might sound a little better for some of us, right? We came to believe a power greater. What is a power greater than ourselves? I mean, a lot of people go to rehabs and they are asked to, oh, you have to have a higher power. You have to have a God in your life. Not necessarily. I don't believe so. I believe it helps. It's very helpful to have that, but some people are spiritually bankrupt, emotionally dark, and they can't see a power greater than themselves, let alone saying it's a God, right? So try to pick something that is stronger than you in your life. I try to look at it as a mountain. What is more powerful than you? The universe, possibly, right? The earth. I don't know. But if you come to believe and you take all that stuff out of there, that we needed support and tools beyond our current resources to restore us to well-being. Don't we all want to have well-being in our lives? Everybody, I think, can agree and relate to that. I don't think the way it's written, the secular version will offend anybody. Unless you're looking for something to get offended by, then of course you'll be able to find something wrong with it. But try to have an open mind. If you come to believe, just believe. I mean, we believe in things all the time, right? But believe that we need more support and more tools, new tools beyond our current resources. What are our resources? What do we have? What are we working with? Step 1, we already know, right? We admitted already that our lives are a wreck. It's not like it was before. I mean, maybe it's been a long time, but man, I think I've given up a lot of things in my life, and my life is going down the tubes. The wheels have fallen off the bus, and I'm crashing into that brick wall. And now I know I have a problem. My life's unmanageable. Step 2, I came to believe that I need more support beyond what I'm currently working with to restore me to well-being. I want to have well-being, Jim.
Mike, as you work through step 1, whether you're doing it by yourself or you're under the guidance of a sponsor-sponsee relationship, as we talked about in the last podcast, first step was to admit we have a problem and that our lives became unmanageable, just like you said a second ago. Step 2 now is I've come to believe that I need support and I need tools because I don't have it. I don't have support. I don't have tools. I don't have people I can talk to. Nobody understands me. People stand in judgment of me. People ridicule me. Tore up my life so bad that nobody wants to be my friend anymore. Can't blame them. And I don't have the tools. The tools I were using before weren't really working before anyway. The tools I were using before to cope and to regulate my emotions was alcohol or drugs or a combination or some kind of addiction.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have that. It ain't working anymore. And I have to, in this first and second step, admit to it, have courage to say, I need help. And, as a lifeguard, nobody waves for help until they really need help.
Right. Yeah, you're about ready to drown your last breath, and then you're like raising your hand finally, right? You raise your hand. That's a great analogy.
When someone's screaming for help, you're not doing a good job as a lifeguard. If it's a lifeguarded beach, because you need to get out there before they get to that panic zone. But that's where we finally have the courage, and it's a life and death decision. Same thing that we experience in treatment and recovery. They've blown their life apart how many times? Now this is the last one. This is the last rodeo for sure because they've lost it all.
Yeah,
and to be able to sit in the dust and just say, I need support. I need new tools. I don't have resources right now. I need to find a way to restore me to well-being. Who do I lean on for that? Where do I find it? Mike.
Well, I know where you find it. You find it in people that have already gone through that. You're not alone in this, right? You're not the first person to say, okay, I'm a big badass dude that no one bothers me and nothing hurts my feelings and trauma doesn't bother me and I'm good. Everything's great. Our famous words is I'm good. Everything's good. We're good. I want my partner to know that I'm not doing good. I'm just going to hold it inside. Be sick is my secrets, right? Like we always say. And I admitted now, like, okay, I took off that mask. I admitted that I have a problem. My life's a wreck. And now I think I need some support. I need some tools that I don't have. And so number one is like, okay, I have a problem. Number two is I'm raising my hand. I'm getting some help. I'm standing out of my chair and saying, look, where do I go? I need to get someone to help me. I need help. It's hard for me to say help, right? Because I'm the helper. I'm helping other people. Like what will people say about me, right? When they know that I'm looking for help myself and I can't help other people. So now that I believe that I do need help and tools and where do I go from here? Because, I am circling the drain right now and I need to get through it.
And it's interesting, Mike. It's no different seeking support, finding new tools for your tool belts, locating resources is no different than sitting with a trusted friend for a cup of coffee and saying, my life is disintegrating. I'm fracturing before your very eyes. It's no different than going to a doctor asking for help because I don't have the medication to save my life right now. It's no different than going to see a counselor to talk about what's happened in my life. So step 2 is actually being done by everybody on this planet, whether you realize it or not, unless, of course, you're going down a very serious mental health road.
Mm-hmm.
And these sorts of thoughts aren't within your atmosphere, but you're already doing it. So I want to encourage people out there, just push a little further.
Yeah. Yeah. Take that extra step or two. And in life, we have these things we want to learn, right? That's why we go to school. That's why we read books. That's why we study. That's why we try to learn from people that we want to emulate. We want to succeed in life. The best success for me in life is that I can finally feel grateful at any given time. And I could actually be present and mindful of this very moment that I'm talking to you right now. I am extremely grateful, Jim. I am extremely grateful that I have this opportunity to do what we are doing here and to share my story and to possibly get through someone that might need to hear what I have to say, spark something in them. And that's what I do this for. I do this because of two concepts that I learned or statements that I learned is this. I had to learn about my recovery. I had to learn what this was. 12 steps, AA, NA, going to meetings, getting a sponsor, reading the big book, working the 12 steps with a sponsor and not drinking or using no matter what, or gambling or whatever, you're into. But the concept was this, is that I can't give away what I don't have. And I could not give away what I'm saying right now because in the beginning, and I'm saying over several months, years, I knew in my heart I was not ready to give because I did not have yet. I had a lot and I was gaining more knowledge and I was practicing this knowledge. Knowledge to me, doesn't mean that much unless you're actually practicing it. I might be really good at reading a book and telling you exactly what it's about, or listening to a story, or researching something and telling you step by step how to do it. But if I don't actually practice it myself, I don't have it completely yet. At least that's how I think about things. So I can't give what I don't possess. And then the flip side of that is, after that is gone through, I can't keep what I don't give away. And that just blew my mind when I first heard that, because I didn't make these things up, right? These are things that I've heard. And I formulate my recovery, and I've made some things up, of course, but over time, I formulate these things so I can understand them better and I could actually give them to other people better too. But I can't keep what I don't give away is very, how would you look at that? Because it's a concept of being sick is your secrets. A lot of times I'm growing up and you want to hold in those secrets because you're afraid other people will take them from you, right? You don't want to give information. You don't trust a lot of people Let's make it I statements. I don't trust a lot of people. I'm going through my life and I want to make sure I'm keeping it close to the vest. Only a select people get to know what's really going on in Mike's life. And I'm not really that open. And pretty soon I want to keep my secrets because I've seen it happen in the past. I've told someone and they use it against me. So that's it. I'm done. Right. It's like going to that first meeting. It's like, oh, this meeting sucked. I mean, this chick over here was freaking on her phone and the guy was crying about his freaking wife who left him. And, they passed around this basket and they wanted $1. There's already $3 in there. God, you think they want more than $3 to keep the meeting going? Right. We're looking for the bad things. The place smelled and whatever. They had good coffee though, but they didn't have a good cream. And you can always find something wrong with anything. But the concept of I can't keep what I don't give away was so interesting to me because it's right. Once I start giving this away, why do I have to hold on to this for? I'm not like, I don't have a business saying, Mike's recovery are us, come in here, I'll give you the keys to the kingdom. No, it's like, hey, this is what helped me. And by me giving it to you, it actually helps me. I get to keep it, right? Because I share it. And if I share it enough times, it gets ingrained in my brain. So when I say, keep coming back, it works if you work it, if you're not 100% in, you're 100% out, all these terms, it's not the very first time I've said it. I've said it numerous times and it reinforces my recovery. Thank God for this moment, Jim. Thank God for you. Thank higher power. Thank, what else did we say it was? Support. Thanks, support.
Okay. Mike, you mentioned holding on to things so tight, not opening up for a lot of good reasons, not being honest, keeping secrets. There's a lot of good reasons for that. And like earlier in this, in our podcast, you mentioned, if people don't have a spirituality or don't have a higher power, God, Jesus, whoever you choose or don't choose, sometimes those folks are going down a dark road. And sometimes there's really good reason why they look the other way against spirituality because of some of the things they've endured as children. There's a whole lot of reasons why people may or may not have a faith. And that's on them to figure out. This show isn't to change anybody's mind. Rather, what I love about your version of the steps is that it takes that out of there. So there's no edge there. There's no reason not to take a closer look at them. And when you talked about opening up and being honest and being vulnerable, I learned something so long ago. It was much easier for me. My style, my personality is I love being on a team. And being on a team is really a ton of fun if you're open to the team experience. Sharing your knowledge and wisdom with others, receiving knowledge and wisdom and critique from others. Hopefully they give it to you with love. But how many, Mike, do you remember this? Do you remember when people were trying to promote in the police departments? Sometimes the people that were going to run for sergeant, very open, their notes were out everywhere. They were happy to share with other people that were trying to be sergeants as well. And then there was the polar opposite. You'd walk into the room, you knew they were studying for the sergeants. Man, they'd close everything up. They'd shove it in the locker. They'd lock it up and wouldn't want to share with anybody for whatever those reasons are. Most of the time it was, I want to be promoted and I need to get ahead of you and anybody else. And I'll be cutthroat about it. I'll do whatever it takes. I just don't have time for that. I love the way I was trained as a lifeguard, and I took that with me in my life. I'll never forget it. As a rookie lifeguard, supervisor comes on, gun down the beach and goes in my tower with me. Hey, how's it going, Rook? It's going well. Let's do some training, And then he would say to me, one of these days you'll be a supervisor. I want you to train the same way. Get in the lifeguard towers, help the new hires out, help each other out. None of us are perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Help each other. This entire few miles stretch of beach. We are the backbone here. We have to be on our A game,
right?
So I took that into my life as I further that in my career as an ocean guard. I took it with me as a law enforcement professional, and I have it with me now. Not only in the things we do with HALT and Call for Backup, just give it away.
Yeah.
Give it away and help somebody so they can continue to give it away and help somebody else. And the other side to that is, as a licensed therapist, I'm a supervisor. I teach at a college. I'm an adjunct professor, and I'm big on giving it away. I want to give as much as I have to everybody so they can take it and run with it too, not hold back. And that is important when you're diving into the step work. You've got people attending these meetings who are giving it away. If you pay attention and just listen, they're trying to give it away. Maybe their giveaway isn't smooth. Maybe it's rough. Okay. Can you go in there and not judge? And one of the pieces about judging, Mike, I never wanted to work. You've heard me tell the story before. I never wanted to work in treatment and recovery. I come from the lifeguard, the police experience. If you come to the beach and you're drunk or high, you're just going to be a pain in my lifeguard's ass.
Yeah.
Asses. And when you're a law enforcement professional or a paramedic or a dispatcher and you're drunk or you're high, you're causing havoc for a lot of people, family, people, innocents on the street and stuff like that. So when I had the opportunity to go into training, going for my master's degree, where's the first place they sent me? That 300-bed all women's adult facility for recovery. And then where was the next one? The 100-bed treatment facility. And where was the next one? The all male adult facility. But by the time I got to the second facility, I had already fallen in love with working in treatment and recovery. I was really honest. It was really hard for me to go in there and say, "Hey, Jim, you're the intern. Tell us about you." And I wanted to hide. I wanted to say, "I'm just going to college and getting my master's and I want to be a therapist." Here's the deal. I'm a lifeguard. I was a police officer, and now I want to be a therapist. And so this is part of my training. What's it like for you for working in treatment and recovery? I didn't like it at first. I didn't like it. I didn't like the dirty people. I didn't like the tattoos. I didn't like the cursing. I didn't like the odors. I didn't like anything about it other than I actually didn't know what I was talking about yet. Didn't know what I was doing yet. And then through the course of all that, I fell in love with it. You've heard me say it before. I fell in love with working in treatment and recovery. I had more fun in my training and continued in my licensure with the real and the vulnerable and the honest and the courageous people that were clients and had also stepped over and become counselors. To this day, the majority of my friends are counselors who have pushed mightily through their addictions and got to the other side of this. And I have friends that are active in their addictions that I'm trying to help out. And I've come to see them in a whole different light. Mike, I'll never forget this. I'll never forget there was a 12-step all men's meeting across from my home back when I was living in Oceanside. And it was a Wednesday night all men's meeting. And I'd get home from work and I'd go take my dog out into the field and go on a little bit of a hike after work. And there was this men's meeting. And my dog is really curious. She was a, combination cattle dog border collie. So she's running everywhere and check everything out. And I tried to stay really far away from where this church was so that they could, I knew what was going on inside. I don't want to interrupt. It's a closed meeting, but it has these big glass windows, and even though it was dark, my dog comes racing across the field and stops at the open door and just stares and looks inside, and you see people looking, and the meeting kind of comes to a stop. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't want that to happen. And then she steps inside and everyone's petting her. And then one person recognizes her because I used to take my dog to work with me. And they go, "This is Prairie. That's Prairie. That's Jim McLintock's dog." And he stepped up and he's like looking around through the windows, and he steps outside and he sees me. I'm like, 30 feet away, trying to just hide behind a pillar. "Prairie, come back. And so he steps outside and he goes, "Jim." And I recognized him. He was a coworker of mine that had once been in his addiction. His very first words to me when I first met him was, I walked into a group meeting at this recovery clinic for men, and he was on a rampage about some Emmer effer in the house that stole his bacon. I'll never forget how mad he was because he didn't have bacon for his breakfast.
I can see bacon's really important.
It is.
I might do the same damn thing. You take my bacon, so don't take.
If I went to Denny's and I was expecting bacon and eggs, I better get some bacon because I've been salivating about it. But the thing was, he bought that bacon. I remember the story vividly. He bought that specifically for his breakfast, and somebody took it. So I remember that was the first time I met him, and we had talked. He'd become a client, and he was working on his anger and his temper. So it always gave me an opportunity to kind of go back to that moment in time. Now here he is petting my dog, looking for me. He knows that's my dog.
Right.
Where the hell is Jim at? This is his dog lost. And there he is. He stands up, he walks outside. And he sees me. The meeting was at its halfway point just by the luck,
Nice.
or just by, thank you, Lord, And so everybody came out for their cigarette break and just to kind of hang outside. And suddenly there are 6 of the 60 people in that meeting. I know 30 of them. They're either counselors with me or they're clients. They all got, vanned over from the clinic, from the treatment center. And I started tearing up in my eyes when I realized, man, I'm the luckiest dude in the planet right now. These tattoos, these parolees, these probationers, these dirty, filthy, lost, smelly, worst of the worst, who I never wanted to work with ever, were hugging me. And they knew who I was. And they knew who my dog was. And I sat back with tears in my eyes as I said hi to everybody, met some new people, talked for a little bit. Then I wished them well because I wanted them to, just enjoy their smoke break and get back into their meeting. And this is a long story, but it took me full circle. It remains one of the best memories and experiences I've ever had in my life. And like you and we've had a lot of them. But for me to sit back and go, man, was I frickin' wrong. Ever judge these people? I used to come around the corner and you would see the 60 people all sitting outside, and like, who are these thugs? What are 60 people doing on my street at the corner under the light, smoking cigarettes? What is this?
Mm-hmm. Was that a meeting on Kelly Street?
It was on Kelly Street.
My God, it was on Kelly. I know exactly where. I got stories about that place. That is amazing, bro. I'd never been to your old house over there, but
yeah.
Jim, what a story. I love that, man.
Yeah. It was on Kelly Street, and I had such a turnaround in my heart, and to be able to see it like from that perspective now, So when I go past a place where I can figure out pretty quick, oh, there's a meeting going on over there, I make sure I wave. I can be in another city. I can be in another state where I am now, and I'll still wave to people. And it's fun to see them wave back and like nod back and that kind of a thing. Not all of them do, because they're on different phases of their recovery and in their life and what's going on with them. But I'm telling you all, everybody who's listening to this, if you're thinking about going to a step meeting, a 12-step meeting, if you're thinking about getting connected with a support team, man, go for it.
Yeah.
Go for it. You have the potential to meet some of the greatest people who have amazing stories. Not everybody in that room is a dirtbag. Not everybody in that room is a loser. I know people, Mike, you know people, they come from 7-figure salaries. They've crashed and burned their lives. They look for cigarette butts on the ground now as they get into their detox. They've crashed and burned their lives so horribly. And we get to see the magic happen. And I'm telling you all, if you're thinking about going to a meeting, just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? You make a new friend.
Yeah, get a free cup of coffee, a donut, or whatever it is in there, and get to hear some people. Go to an open meeting, though. I would suggest not to go to a closed meeting, because you truly have to, there's more strict. You truly have to say, I'm an alcoholic. And if you're not, you're not supposed to be in the meeting. But go. Just go. You'll trip out. You'll love it. You're going to love it. I want to go to a meeting right now. I do. I want to go to a meeting right now. But maybe I will.
I'll just cut the video. Adios.
Bye-bye.
What are we encouraging you all? Stay open. Get honest. Be willing. If you lean into a 12-step meeting and do the heavy lifting for once in your life, you will begin to experience a growing sense of freedom from the behaviors and patterns that once controlled you. Make peace with your past. Recognize how it can serve your growth, not your shame. Take us home, Mike.
All right. Well, you heard Jim. What a great story. I love it. And remember, with a lot of things going on around us, remember what we have to control. We can control our reactions to those things. People, places, or things we normally can't control. So if you're having a hard time, remember, Jim, remember, everybody, try to be grateful for the moment in the present and halt and call for backup.
Don't get fooled again.
Good.
What do you think?
I think it was great.
I love you, Mike.
To you, bro.